do want to say thank you guys for checking out the waiting game, how to Forex part 1. Uh, Before we begin, I do want you guys to pause this screen right here. It's just, so you get a better idea. But before we even get into it, I'm going to tell you guys what you need to start as far as your applications and everything. The first thing is MetaTrader 4. MetaTrader 4. The next one is TradingView. These are both apps you can find on the App Store, or if you got a computer, you can download them. TradingView is also a website you can go to. The third thing is Capital. After you found those two, you definitely need Capital to be able to trade. That's like if this was fishing, that would be your bait, and then the third thing, you got to keep all of this information logged. You don't want to do this mentally. It's just going to take a lot longer. So if you're able to write down your trades, your reasons for taking those trades, reasons you lost, things like that, it'll save you a lot of time. So what we're going to go over here is, just to start, is basic market structure. This is how the markets move at any given time, really. So you're going to have an uptrend, a downtrend, and consolidation. These are 3 ways the market can move at any given time. So just to give more, much more detail on this, let's say an uptrend, what you're going to see is the market is going to be pushing up, but it doesn't push up straight, right? It makes retracements, it goes back down. It's just not a straight shot. So what you as a trader will have to do is, if you see a market pushing up, you have to come in and be able to get into the continuation moves, which are your bounces or your touches, or touch of that trend line, basically. And now I'll show you that in more detail here in a little bit. Now for the downtrend, it's similar. You're not gonna have it pushing all the way down. It is gonna make those retracements back up. So the thing that's in common with both of these, an uptrend and downtrend, you as a trader, you're gonna be able to draw these trend lines, those straight lines, and use that as a guide to better see where to enter. So and the third part is consolidation, which there are no real patterns made with this. It's really just a ranging market. So when you don't have it going up or you don't have it going down, it's really just stuck in that range. Sometimes it could be 100 pips range, 200, maybe 50 pips, just weird consolidation. No actual movement, no trending movement. So if you see those circles, those are your entries, and we're gonna get into that more here. One of the key things is to remember the market is a pattern within a pattern. So what do I mean by that? In a nutshell, and this is in more detail here with an uptrend, you're gonna have that market pushing up, but after each push, it's going to not go into consolidation, but go into a period where it's gonna form a pattern. This is just to collect other people's orders. This is to get a whole bunch of people out of their orders. It's for various reasons, but what you're gonna have is a pattern forming before the continuation move. So your job as a trader, again, is to get into these continuation moves with the best entries that you can. And here I'm gonna show you, just most of the patterns the market can create. You would be able to draw trend lines like this, that look like this, and then the market is gonna look similar to this, after you're drawing your trend lines or where it's breaking. So if you see the circles I was drawing there, again, those are your entries, and I'll show you them in the live market, but even more detail with the uptrends, because I'm just trying to show you guys how this market forms. I know if you're just looking at it and you're not familiar with it, it's just gonna look like gibberish. It's a language, though, that you can actually learn, and there's tells, there's signs on what the market is gonna do next. There's universal signs, You have to remember there's a whole bunch of other people looking at the same thing that you're looking at. You just have your own interpretation, and what I'm giving you is how I would view the markets. You know, what is making me money and what's making me profitable. Um, just back to this diagram, those circles are what you want to pay attention to. Those are your breaks, and we're gonna get into that more when I teach my actual method, you know, the on-site on-session, OSIS for short. Um, and that's coming behind the break or bounce, or BOB method. Um, I just want to keep trading as simple as possible. Trading ain't shit. To me, trading ain't shit. There's a whole bunch of other stuff you'd want to be doing, you know, while you're making money in the background. You want to get the knowledge, and you want to be able to make your money in the background while you're doing other things, you know, for living a more fulfilling life, because that's what trading is. It allows you that freedom. But if all your time is spent on the markets, you don't really have that freedom. The only time you want to do that is when you're learning. You know, you just want to get so familiar with it, so accustomed to just this realm, this industry. And while I'm talking, you know, it's the same thing. I'm able to draw that trend line down, like I did before on the uptrend line. You know, different slope, but it's straight. And you, as a trader, again, you're just gonna have to wait for those times where it comes back to retest. Retests are your entries, you know, and there's different ways to trade a retest. Um, and we'll get into that more with entries and everything. But yeah, that's yeah, like retest and your timing, because even though you're getting retests, you still need liquidity. You still need the session to, you know, to have the actual move happen, because otherwise you're just gonna still be stuck in a little range, and you could get stopped out. You know, there's other people in the markets that do not want you to win. Like, they're gonna work against you. So you, as a trader, you just have to pick your shots, and that's gonna bring me into my method. You know, the one that I want to show or teach is first break or bounce, BOB. That's it. So where do we look for these breaks or bounces? There's 4 time frames. The main ones you want to look for these to happen are your daily and your 4-hour. Daily, 4-hour go hand in hand. And then when the move happens, when the break happens, you can go down to your 1 hour or 15-minute to actually enter the market. And you know, you'll see it in more details. Here I just wanted to also, you know, still with the drawdown and everything, show you what it should look like on the 4-hour or daily, or what you're able to draw in terms of trend lines, you know, and really uh, make that structure visible. So as far as my method with the break or bounce, you still want to be able to identify these. So on the downtrend line for the daily, the one that you see at the very top, the straight line, that's where you're gonna see these bounces. And then below that on the sell side, that's where you're gonna want to see the breaks happen to the continuation of the sells. So you know, and this may be easier when you're seeing it form in the markets themselves, and maybe when you see the actual footage, or not footage, the actual chart, the real chart, which, here you go. With this, it's basically the same thing, right? You see the downtrend lines and the short uptrend retracement slopes. That's basically what those are. So here, for this whole video, you can just watch. You know, I'm gonna be pointing out the times, or the I guess the areas where you would want to really look at the market for an entry. And this is going to bring in, or tie into the next aspect of this course, which is on-site, on session. It's OSIS, right? It's more time-based or session-based. And we don't want to be watching the charts all day. We don't want to be worried about the charts all day. We just know that at certain times or at certain sessions, high liquidity sessions, the market moves. And a lot of the times it'll set up to move, in those few hours, or begin the move in the few hours. So that's what we want to focus on. And yeah, there's just so much you would want to be aware of at the same time. Because if you're in this industry, but at first it could be overwhelming. It's just if you know what to focus on to be profitable, you can keep it simple. There's just a whole lot of information out there and a whole lot of misinformation and shit that you really don't need to know. So if you're just starting out, I would just like to give you the information you need to know so you can reinforce on that, because that's just maybe 25% of this game. The other 75% is you getting your mind right and being able to perform consistently. Because you can find yourself in a winning trade, that's nothing, but if you can't perform and really stay disciplined, throughout your losers, throughout whatever the market throws at you, you're gonna be lost, and you're gonna be doing the same things, the same losing habits.